Hello, and welcome to the MMA Mic Drop Podcast. My name is Jade Bunky, and today's episode, I'm going to break down everything that's about to go down from the land down under. UFC Fight Night 260, Ulberg versus Reyes. This is a really solid fight night. You have a potential title eliminator in the main event. You have new entrants into the UFC, some of whom are quite promising, and you have a lot of compelling matchups. If I were to rate this fight card, I would probably give it a B. It is solid. And before I give you my picks and predictions, my co-host MMA Milo, he is not available today. As most of you know, he is one of the nation's top up-and-coming amateur surfers, and he is surfing in a contest. So let's hope he does well. He usually does pretty well in these type of contests. So let's get right to it. The main event, Ulberg versus Reyes. This is a great main event. This is actually the main event I wanted after Reyes won his last fight. I wanted to get him close to a title eliminator. I wanted to see him against a striker. He's somebody for whom I think we're all rooting. He is, let me just check his record real quickly. He is 15-4. We know about him. We know what happened. He is the person who took John Jones to the brink of defeat, and many people thought he actually did win that fight. But what happened after that was quite disheartening. I mean, he lost a total of 4 fights in a row. It looked like he was completely out of the sport. And then he's won 3 in a row, and he's finishing guys. And granted, they're ranked guys, but they're not the highest level of competition in the top 15, even though they're ranked guys. But look, he is on a 3-fight winning streak. He is looking good. And when you look at his game, he is still very athletic. I believe, let me click on this. I think he's 35 years old. So he's starting to get up there in age, but his power has not gone anywhere. He still hits hard. He still has really good kicks. He is still a really good athlete. And he's going up against another good athlete, Carlos Ulberg. And he is ranked number 3 in the division right now. Reyes is at number 7, but he's an older fighter as well. He is 34 years old. So let's take a look at what we have with him. He is a kickboxer. He trains with Israel Adesanya, Eugene Berryman out in New Zealand. And he's very patient. He's very methodical, like a lot of guys from that gym are. He's has good power. He is 12-1, and his only loss was his UFC debut. Since then, he's won 8 in a row against increasingly good competition. This is a good matchup. This is probably going to be a striking contest. It would be smart for, I think, Reyes to take him down, but he could still land a good counter on the feet. I think this is a really compelling matchup. I know a lot of people are taking Ulberg. He is the favorite. He is a minus 248 favorite. I believe Reyes is a plus 110. Underdog, and I'm going to take Reyes in this fight. I think sometimes Ulberg can be too patient. I find it problematic that he was unable to finish Jan Blachowicz, who is around, 39, 40 years old. And if you're at that level where you're getting ready to fight for a title, I think you should be absolutely smashing guys who are up there in weight, and that's not happening. Even though he is on an impressive winning streak, although he will have better technique in the stand-up game, he will be the better kickboxer. He will be the better fighter at range. But I think Reyes will have a little bit of a power advantage, and I think he is going to catch him at some point. Give me Reyes by second round TKO. All right, next up, and as the UFC has it listed right now, and this could change, the co-main event is Jack Jenkins versus Ramon Taveras. And this is not the strongest main event in terms of high-level fighters. Neither of these guys will ever be in the top 10, but they are decent fighters. They will both provide some action. Jack Jenkins, he's 13-4. Taveras, he is 10-3. They both have a pretty decent stand-up game. Jenkins likes to attack with the kicks. Let me check the odds real quickly. Jenkins is a minus 278 favorite. I think that's a little too far. I think this fight is going to be a little bit closer, and I think it's going to be a back and forth. let's see, how should I put this? It's going to be not necessarily a really high paced, but it should be a high. There should be sufficient action. So it should have pretty good tempo. I think Taveras might try to grapple from time to time. But this is a fun matchup, and I think Jack Jenkins is going to get it done, and I think it's going to be a very close decision. So give me Jenkins by decision. All right. After that, before that, we're going to get Jimmy Crute versus Ivan Erslan. Crute, a minus 185 favorite. Erslan, he is a plus 154 underdog. And let me just check this right here. Crute, he is 13-4 with 2 draws. Erslan is 14-5. Now, Erslan is 0-2 in the UFC. But it's against pretty decent competition. His debut was against Ion Cutelaba. And when Cutelaba makes good decisions, he is a pretty decent fighter and he can be dangerous. And it was a very close fight. And then he lost to Navajo Sterling, who is undefeated. And we'll get to him later because he is on this fight card. Now, Crute, he came into the UFC. He was 4-5 in his first 5 fights. He looked like a world beater. He looked like somebody who could maybe make a difference. But then he came up against really good competition. He came against Anthony Smith, then Jamal Hill. But what was problematic was after that, he had a draw against Alonzo Menefield, and then he lost in the rematch, and then he retired. And in this sport, you need to be completely all in to be able to perform at the highest level. Now, he's made a comeback, and he is coming off an impressive win in his last fight. He still is only 29 years old. He is going to be the better athlete. He is going to be the better grappler, and I think he's going to take it to Erslan. Give me Jimmy Crute by second round decision. All right. Before that, we are going to get Jake Matthews versus Neil Magny. I mean, talk about some UFC vets here. Jake Matthews, 22-7. Neil Magny, 30-13. I think if you're going to look to describe Magny in one word, I lost my one word. I was going to try to sum it up nicely. What was that one word? It is crafty. Yeah, that is right. He is a crafty vet. He does find a way to win. He is, he beats guys that you think may have an advantage in terms of athleticism, speed, and youth. But when we talk about youth, he is now 38 years old. And yes, he's coming off an impressive win, but that was against another 38-year-old. And I think he's just slowed down so much, even though a couple fights before that, he was able to weather the storm and beat Mike Malott. He is never out of a fight. But Jake Matthews is a solid fighter. He is a good grappler. He is a really good wrestler, I think. But the most important thing is he's only 31, and I think he's going to get it done. And I think he is going to finish Neil Magny in the third round. And I can't remember if I mentioned the odds. Let me just take a look at the odds real quickly here. Matthews, a -4. Oh, wait, I think it's even bigger than that. Yeah, a -465. I've heard even -600. Neil Magny plus 370. And it's really the age. If this fight took place 5 years ago, I'm taking Neil Magny all day. But give me Jake Matthews by third round submission. All right. And before that, we're going to have Tom Nolan versus Charlie Campbell. Now, Nolan, he is a -155 favorite. Is that correct? Hold on. That surprises me. Wow, because Charlie Campbell is actually really good. He is well-rounded. He's good on his feet. He has a good grappling game. He has a decent level of athleticism. He is 9-2, and he is coming off. He is on a 3-fight win streak. Before that, he lost on Dana White's Contender Series to a fight in which he was in control. Granted, it got finished in the first round. It was against Chris Duncan, who is a pretty decent fighter. These odds absolutely surprise me. Campbell is still only 30 years old. And let's see, if we go and we look at Nolan. Now, Nolan came to the UFC, undefeated fighter, looked pretty good, and then in his first fight, he lost to Nicholas Mota, and that is not a good look, and he lost by first-round TKO. But since then, he has won 3 in a row, and he's looked progressively better. I think he does have a little bit of power. Let's see, yeah, he has 5 five finishes by KO, TKO out of his 9 wins. He is 9-1, but I see Charlie Campbell winning this, and I see Charlie Campbell in this one all day long. I think Nolan can sting Charlie Campbell. I think he can hurt him at times. I think he can put Charlie Campbell in some relatively dangerous positions, but I think it's going to be Charlie Campbell. So I think what I see is a little bit of back and forth, but at the same time, Charlie Campbell will have a dominant win, and I think he's going to put it out. I think he's going to finish Nolan by second round TKO. All right. Now, before that, let's see. Who do we have? Opening. I believe this opens the main card. Justin Tafa versus Louis Sutherland. Tafa 7-5. Louis Sutherland 10-3. Tafa, crazy power. And for some reason, a lot of people really like Tafa. But as a fighter, he's not that good. His stand-up is incredibly sloppy. Yes, he has power that can end any fight at any minute. But it just takes somebody who can move around a little bit, can stick and move and avoid those big shots, and they'll own him on the feet. On the grappling, in terms of grappling, he has none. He's one of the worst grapplers in the UFC. And when we look at Sutherland's a newcomer. And when we think about new entrants to the UFC, it's usually a wake-up call, right? The people that we think are lower level in the UFC are still so much better than anybody from any other promotion. But I don't think this is going to be the case. Even though Louis Sutherland is pretty sloppy as well on the fight, on his feet, I think he is a lot faster, and I think he can probably get Tafa to the ground and completely control him there. Give me Sutherland by first round submission, or actually first round ground and pound. That's where I'm going to go with that. All right, before that, Navajo Sterling versus Rodolfo Bellato. Here's what's interesting about this fight. Let me get the odds real quick. Let me just bring up the odds. Tafa's a -120 favorite. I totally disagree with that. Sutherland is a +100. And then if we go to Navajo Sterling, he is coming in as a -238 favorite. Bellato, a +195 underdog. And when we look at these two fighters, when we look at Navajo Sterling in particular, he's another guy that fights out of the gym with Israel Adesanya, Eugene Berryman, and he is a kickboxer. And a lot of hype has come off his name. And it's because he hasn't finished guys in the UFC. He's 2-0 in the UFC, so that's good, right? But a little bit of the hype has come off because they were a little lackluster. He does have good power, but he's very methodical. He is low volume. He picks his spots, and he doesn't have the most exciting fight style, even though you think a kickboxer with power, he would be the person to watch. He at times is not that exciting. Now he's going up against Rodolfo Bellato, and a lot of people like him. He's 12-2-1. I am not sold on him at all. I do not think he's that good at all. His one win in the UFC is against Itor Pretoria. I mean, that's not a good win. I think he's going to get absolutely destroyed here. I think when I say destroyed, it will be a methodical beatdown, but I don't think he's going to have anything for Navajo Sterling. And I think Sterling, given that this is in Australia, and yes, he's from New Zealand, but the Aussies are going to probably root for anybody in that general region, New Zealand or any of the islands around there, and he's going to have the crowd behind him. He's going to want to put on a show, and I think he's going to get it done. Give me Navajo Sterling by second round TKO. Before that, again, a testament to how solid this fight card is. We have, let me just click on this. We have Loma Lubumi. She is a fun fighter to watch, and she is coming up against a newcomer. She is against Alexia Tenera, and this is a fascinating fight, even though I have a pretty good idea how it's going to go. The newcomer is a -250 favorite. Lubumi is a +250 underdog. And here's what's interesting, and I'm just, I'm trying to click around here to look at a couple things. Lubumi is 10-3, and she is, let me just count this. She is she's coming off a 4-fight win streak in the UFC. She is 7-2 in the UFC. Her only 2 losses are to Angela Hill and Lupita Godinez. Those are not bad losses. She is a good fighter. Now, she's always been a little undersized, and that's been a little bit of a problem with her in some of her fights. But she is an elite level Muay Thai practitioner. She has a great kick game, good elbows. She's got good knees, obviously, and her grappling is getting better. But she is coming off. She is going against a pretty strong grappler here, and I just want to bring it up, see how many subs she has. So Tanera is 12-1. She has 8 finishes by sub. In her debut, she finished Molly McCann in the first round by sub, and I think I think that's what's going to happen here. I think she's going to get Luke Boomy to the ground, and I think she is going to sub her. Give me Tanera by second round sub. All right. Before that, we have Jonathan McKelliff versus Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott, 12-3. Mikalev, 8-1. I see a lot of people high on both of these fighters. And Oban Elliott, he looked good. I think it was his first 2 fights in the UFC. Let me just click on this just to make sure I'm giving you accurate information. Was it his first 2 fights? And there was some hype around him. He's only 27 years old. It's his first 3 fights. That's right. So he was winning 3 fights in a row, and that's right. He had a 3rd round TKO over Basil Hafez, and everybody's like, whoa. So this is his 3rd fight in the UFC. It's against Basil Hafez. And I think we all elevated our expectations for Hafez. Hafez is not as good as we thought he was. We thought he was good because he took Jack Della Maddalena to the brink. But we've seen after that, that was more of an aberration. And then we've seen Elliott lose after that. Now Mikalev, he actually won his last fight. It was against Jusei. And yeah, it was a decision. I'm kind of torn on this one. But give me Oban Elliott by decision. All right. Before that, Cameron Roston versus Petrosky. Yeah, he's another one out of fighting out of New Zealand on that team. This is his UFC debut. He is a striker, as you can imagine, and he was supposed to fight on Dana White's Contender Series, and then he got a call. He was not going to fight on that, and he's fighting in Perth instead. So this is probably really exciting for him. But he's going to face a pretty tough test. He's going to face Andre Petrosky, and it's not that I think Andre Petrosky is that good. He's okay. I'm looking at his record right now in the UFC. He has some decent wins in the UFC, but a lot of his wins are against pretty low-level fighters, except maybe Rodolfo Vieira and Gerald Meerschaert. Again, that was like 2023. The 2023 version of Meerschaert, was not that great. Petrosky, he is a really good wrestler, and he will be the better wrestler. Look for him to try to control the fight. Look for him to try to clinch against the cage, and get this fight to the ground. Rostin, he is 12-3. Let me see how many knockouts he has by. Oh wow, he has. I did not know this. He has 6 subs and 5 knockouts. So maybe he's a little more well-rounded than I thought. He is coming in on a 3-fight win streak. Oh, that's right. He's the person who fought. He lost his previous Dana White's Contender Series fight to Taurus Finney. And at first I'm like, okay, I'm thinking this guy's a wash. But then, I started to rethink about that. Now, Taurus Finney, he is not the highest level UFC fighter. But what he does have that no other fighter in this division has is superhuman strength. And I remember watching that fight because he was just pushing Rostin up against the cage. And I mean, it was just an issue versus strength. He basically had no breathing room. And he did show some pretty good takedown defense there. I'm going to go with Rostin by 3rd round TKO. Oh, and let me get the odds. I don't think I did that. Let me just click over here real quickly. And if I didn't give the Oban Elliott odds, he's a -126. Mikalev, a +105. Petrosky, a -148. I could see that because, you have a wrestler that has the UFC experience, and once you get it on the ground, if you're not that proven there, I could see that Rostin at a +124. And before that, we're going to get Josiah Musa versus Colby Thickness. Musasa, a minus 148 favorite. Thickness, a plus 124 underdog. And now it's interesting because Musasa's had some hype coming into his UFC debut. He was an undefeated fighter. He is 8-1 overall. He came in 7-0, but he got submitted in the first round by Carlos Ulberg. Not a good look at all. And then we have Colby Thickness. He is 7-1, and his loss was to Toporia's younger brother. I don't know how good Toporia's brother is, so I mean, it's, you know, that was both of their, I think, first fights in the UFC, so it's hard to know how good he is. But I'm going to take Musasa. Give me Musasa by third round TKO. Jamie Mullarkey versus Rolando Bedoya, and I'm going to go through these ones pretty quickly. Mullarkey is better than you think. Yes, he can take a beating, but that's because he's fought some really good fighters. I think he's 4-5 in the UFC. Bedoya has good volume, but I think he's 0-3 in the UFC. I'm taking Mullarkey. I think he's the tougher guy. I think he's a little bit more well-rounded. He's going to be a little slower. He'll have lower volume, but I think he is going to eke out a decision here for some reason. I think he's going to control the fight at certain times. Before that, Michelle Montagog versus Luana Carolina. Carolina 11-5. She's one of those fighters that is better than you think she is. Let me just check real quick. I said I was going to go over this quickly, but yeah, she's on a 3-fight winning streak. Before, let's see, she has 1, 2, 3. She's 6-3 in the UFC. She is improving. She is more of a striker, but she is going up against an expert level grappler who is actually going to be a little bit bigger than her, which is ironic because Carolina is usually the bigger fighter. But yeah, she's going up against a grappling ace who is not only 6-0, all of her wins have come by finish, by sub. And give me Montague by second round, rear naked choke. All right, opening the fight card, Brando Persic. Oh, I think he's the fighter. I'm sorry. He's the fighter who was expecting to be called up on Dana White's contender series, but is actually now on a larger card in Perth. He is fighting Elisha Ellison. And I think he's the one who was a little bit sloppy. I'm sorry. I got the other two fighters mixed up. He is, 4-1, not a lot of experience. I believe he does have some kickboxing experience, though. Ellison, he is 5-1. He, interesting nickname, Snack Panther. It's kind of funny. All right. He has all finishes. Again, not against the best level of competition. We don't know how good he is. I'm going to take Brando by first round TKO. There you have it. Those are my picks and predictions. Let me know if you disagree. MMA Milo will be back in our next show. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye.